Okay, we are on. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday evening.
Hello.
We thought we would hop online and talk about D&D or other role-playing games that we won't mention that Joe likes a whole lot.
What? I mean, like,
There is
role-play
nothing.
games. There's a wide world to this.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Call of Cthulhu, James. How dare you?
I would love to play Call of Cthulhu. That'd be great.
I
We could do that
love a
for
good
sure.
Cthulhu game.
Yeah. Some Delta Green.
Mm-hmm.
Some horror.
I'm sorry, Joe. Pathfinder just annoys the shit out of me.
Well,
It really
it
does.
is. I mean,
It has the.
you just need to build your resolve.
Oh wow! Oh my God! He just went with his old tried and true, rather
Well-
than telling you you can really take the rules that are so crunchy and build anything.
No, he's right. Because, we have a game that we play, with a friend of ours. And we were playing last Tuesday, and we had a combat encounter. And it's just, you can't do anything on your turn. And anything you do want to do, there's a reason why you can't. Right?
I had a great time in that
Mhm.
combat, and I got what was it? Was it paralyzed or put to sleep? What are all of those awful things that Pathfinder encounters do to you? And I was like, for like 3 rounds, like rolling just to get out of it. And then
Yep.
Joe used his awesome ability to help me.
Uh-huh.
And then from that point on, I had a great combat. I walked around, I slaughtered small creatures that were different from me. Which, hey, that's a conversation we should be having, but you're afraid to because you've got hashtag canceled.
Well, maybe it's me. But every time I have a combat in Pathfinder, I do not have a good time.
It's also because you roll like garbage,
Mm-hmm.
like hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the
Like
thing.
it's
And-
so
Yeah.
bad.
All right,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, our topic today is designing encounters.
Oh hey, yeah.
Oh.
the audience, I'm sure you want to know what we want to talk about today.
If you're going to be in the game,
Designing encounters. Also bashing James though.
Yep. Also,
You're gonna-
also that.
if you're going to DM a game, we're going to talk about how to create an encounter for your party that, one, is challenging, and two, isn't annoying as fuck.
Hmm.
Ooh, I haven't got.
Whoa. Whoa. What?
I mean, here's the thing. You
So-
play in a game that I play that's 5th edition. I think some of those counters are probably pretty annoying to you, my friend.
I haven't been annoyed.
There's a lot of
Okay,
times
the difference between 5e.
where
Let's
you
get this out of the
roll
way.
like hot garbage, and I'm just like, well, that's his turn, and I feel so bad for you.
Let's get this out of the way. Okay, here's the difference between 5e and Pathfinder, okay?
Wait, Pathfinder, which edition?
There's only two. They're the same damn thing,
I
aren't
mean,
they?
no.
No.
No, I know what you mean. Okay, you're talking about second edition hasn't even really been
Yeah, we haven't given it its fair shake, Joe. That's fair.
no. And I will say that I enjoyed a spellcaster much more in second edition.
Okay.
I played one of the pre-made characters they give you, to try
Right.
and play.
Okay,
I think it was a cleric, and I actually enjoyed that. I had fun.
Okay.
But if you're playing a character, you can either move
Mhm.
a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
or you can attack, and that's it. You're not gonna have a good time because that attack's gonna be a 4, and then you just sit there and wait for everybody to come back around to you. Like 20 minutes later,
I mean,
because there's 6 or 7 players, there's 6 or 7 monsters, and by the time it comes around, and Pathfinder is so crunchy that everybody takes 5 minutes for their fucking turn to figure out what the hell they can do and what they can't, right?
I don't have that problem.
And by the
Look,
time
yeah,
it comes back
that's-
around to you, like, well, I'll roll another attack. Missed.
Look,
20
look,
minutes. 20
if-
minutes.
if you-
Me and Joe are streamlining it for you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We're doing our best.
yeah.
I can't help that you have a bunch of other newbies in there. Yeah.
I mean, if you've been around since 3.0, D&D 3 and 3.5, it's old hat.
It's too complicated. Pathfinder.
Well, that's why they switched it up. That's why they switched
2E
it up.
is also frustrating to me.
Pretty complicated.
Well, my view is I much prefer the crunchiness of 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition versus 5e, D&D 5e, and Pathfinder Second Edition.
Well,
That's just-
second edition, they tried to streamline it, which makes it more annoying because it's not any more streamlined. It's just as annoying,
I just
It should be better, but it's not.
I just don't. Well, I like the crunch, and I like how many options you have.
Crunch is fine. I'm not
For
complaining about
everything.
numbers. I'm not oh, okay, I got to add this and that and that. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about you got a ball and chain hooked around your neck in Pathfinder.
See, we're playing too low level right now. We got to get into like the sweet spot of like six to 12. Really is the
So
sweet
you're
spot
saying I
range.
got to play for a year just to enjoy the game?
No,
No.
other DMs would have leveled you up by now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
play for
yeah.
I gotta. Just
Not
hang in
naming
there.
names.
Just hang in there and hate your life for a whole year, and then maybe
Yeah,
it'll get
yeah,
better.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is really building your resolve, and I
Yeah, that's right.
through here. This is great.
5e, however, you get 3 things you can do every round.
Mhm.
You attack, you move,
Mhm.
you get a bonus action. Sometimes you might take a reaction, and that's it. That's all you have to remember.
Mhm.
It's so much simpler. I will shit on Pathfinder more later. But for now,
I mean, you just need to build a resolve and get up to those higher levels.
Yeah.
build a resolve.
Build
I
that
don't want to
resolve.
build. Life's too short for resolve, Joe. Too short.
I'm using that on you from now on, Joe.
Life is
Too short for the resolve.
I'm 41 years old. I'm circling the drain, Joe.
Oh, no.
God.
You know,
I
people
only-
are living longer. How dare you?
I only
You
have so
shouldn't
much
have even hit your
time.
midlife crisis yet.
I only have so much time in my life. I want to use it. I want to enjoy that time that I have. And I want to sit there waiting 20 minutes for my turn to come around and roll a die and get a 1 and go, well, see you next turn.
I mean, pretty much every game though that I play in, like if you have about six other players at the table, you're waiting 20 minutes regardless of the system.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about 5e. It's like, it comes around to me. Even if I'm playing a rogue and I get 1 attack and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turn comes around to me and I miss that attack. I roll that 1 or whatever. I probably still have some, unless I'm level 1, and again, maybe, you resolve, okay, whatever. Unless you're level 1, you probably have something you can do as a bonus action, or you can move around or something. But Pathfinder, you can either move or attack, and that's it.
You can move and attack.
No, you can't.
You can charge.
No, you can't.
can charge.
You can't.
You charge. You must charge.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you've got to charge in order to do
You
that.
can do one or
Always
the other.
charge.
And that's it. And it annoys the fuck out of me. So speaking of encounters.
Yeah. Encounter building and perhaps.
Yep.
Hey.
Speaking of those really fucking annoying encounters where there's a whole bunch of bad guys, your turn comes around, you roll a die and you miss, then you wait like 20 minutes. So how do we avoid that sort of thing in the future, Joe? Here's the thing. In our Saltmarsh game, which I forgot to send you an invite for Friday, but you probably would have ignored me anyway.
What do you mean I would have ignored
You can come this Friday if you want. I
Actually,
sent out
I will be out of town this Friday.
Oh,
unfortunately.
convenient.
So,
Convenient. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
going on
Okay.
a mini vacay.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah.
In that game, there's 13 or 14 players in that game. They are not there every week. So every week I have probably around 6 players, right? It's pretty casual as far when you level up. I just tell everybody to level up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I make encounters for that game, I try not to do the thing where there's a shitload of enemies because there's so many players. We had one night where 10 people showed up.
Yeah. So.
And
now,
I did ship-to-ship warfare, and I had a crew versus your crew, and there was like a big crab in there, and there was a bunch of stuff in there, and it took forever. And I could just feel like, of course, as DM, it doesn't feel long to you because you're constantly doing shit, right? But for the player, I could sense that, like it came around to John's turn again once. I was like, Jesus, when was your last turn? How long have we been sitting here, So I decided after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw fucking Godzilla at him. That's what I'm going to do.
He did.
So
He did do that.
there's the monster gets a turn, and then everybody else goes.
And here's the thing, though. I am invested in all of my friends' characters, and I am paying attention on their turns. I like huge ship-to-ship combat. As long as you've got a bunch of really cool, disparate enemies that are doing really like cool things, and like suddenly John's over there in an archery battle with some other dude, and but then when John's turn comes around, I'm like, John, this dude, he's disrespecting you. He's calling out your mama. You gotta beat him, John. And then if John misses, I feel it. I'm like, I'm like, we're in it. We're all in it together,
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask this: when you run those big combats, are you having every baddie you control on one initiative or a couple initiatives, or does everything get their own initiative?
No, I mix it up. Yeah.
So
now, and with using Roll20, I could set that up ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I don't make everybody wait 20 minutes while I figure out what the fucking initiative is.
Well, I mean, like even for the flow of the game, like I like to set up like if I have multiples of one type of baddie, like have all of those of that one type.
Each one type roll together. Yeah, I've done that too.
And that is rules as written, by the way.
Is
on
it?
5e. Yeah, they say it somewhere in the Dungeon Masters, and I was like, I didn't know that I should be doing that.
As opposed to, I think one thing that really drags encounters is like if every baddie, like even like the low level mooks, are all under their own initiatives. Like that really just slows the game down.
Yeah.
Like, then it's not fun for anyone.
Have them move as a monolith.
Yeah.
So what about danger? When you're designing an account, we've all done before, somewhat extensively. Are you concerned with killing your players?
No.
Well, I wasn't asking you, Joe.
Yeah.
I know your answer.
We know what you want to do, Joe. But here's the thing. There are certain encounters that I have run. Now, these were all. I'm going to tell you right now. I've never homebrewed as a DM. Coming out and say it. All of you could leave your comments on my Twitter page, which will never be shared. But anyways, I have never homebrewed my own world. But there are encounters that I've run where I have looked at it and been like, this is going to kill someone. And it's not my fault at that point. I am absolved. I'm just running the book, baby. And I love that. I love that. There are encounters out there that are really, really bad. Like I ran Death House for my group of people, and I was sitting there, and there's the stat. Oh God, spoilers! Or turn away if you're gonna ever play it. There's that statue holding that stupid rock, and I was like, oh God, the bard didn't touch it. We're great. We're golden. And then I think the freaking cleric was like, oh, well, I touched the rock. And I'm like, 5 shadows appear in the room. And they're just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, welcome to Death House, baby. And let's do this.
We had something like that in the Hottest Club of Waterdeep. You guys are going through Galhun Villa.
Oh, yeah. And then you touched the book.
You find the library, and there was a book. It had a lock on it. And they're like, I'm going to bust that lock open. And then specters come out of it.
Which is fine, though, because at that point we were like
level 3 or
4. Either way, I was able to run in, and I had turn undead. I had like their second level, and you're talking about 5 shadows. I'm like, who are you, and are you high when you wrote that? Like, what is your problem?
Death House is supposed to scare you. It's supposed to have that element of danger, and I think encounters should have an element of danger.
But as a DM, I was way more scared than they were.
You should feel like, as a player, that your character is in danger, or it's no fun. What's the point? It's like putting a cheat code in old video games. It's like that's no fun. No. So I and every now and then, you gotta sacrifice somebody, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
just to remind the rest of the
crew. Joe says the tree of DMs is watered by the blood of player characters.
That's right. I have a Facebook group dedicated that I send to every PC or every player that I kill one of their PCs in, that they get to join an elite Facebook group just filled with other people who have had their characters.
I have seen the face of death, and his name is Cabot.
That's right.
That's what it's called.
That's right.
It's the worst.
No, but
That might be a little extreme.
I think it's important. I think it's important that there is a challenge. That you don't just play through something expecting to win.
No, you want the element of danger. You want them to feel like they accomplished something if they beat the monsters, right?
Now, here's a question for you guys. Do you guys ever build encounters tailored for a PC in particular?
Yes. So there's the Wrath of the Righteous game that I'm running, that you're involved in, Aldon.
La 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 la. No, I'm listening. You tell me.
And I, so for 6 players, that's vastly overpowering, like creatures is written.
Right.
So I have to go in and tailor these baddies, and I do it mainly for the big bads of the books.
Yeah. Let them win on the mooks, but then when it comes to your boss, make your
that's
boss
right.
angry. Yeah.
That's right. I give them certain abilities that would negate certain powers of certain PCs, and so they have to figure out a way to they can't win the same way every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's my goal of enhancing those abilities by just sometimes a minor change, like giving a baddie who is clearly evil no alignment as as one of the things you can do in Mythic, and then that negates
Smite evil.
A smite evil. So I mean, you just got to think. You got to think of those things to add some spice.
Yeah.
I mean, I could only really think of one encounter I had that was tailored toward a certain character, and I'm sure you remember that, Aldon, playing Bast, because Bast caused the whole thing.
What did I do? How dare you? You mean the Cthulhu-esque one?
Yeah, the star spawn.
Listen,
Yeah.
First of all, that just everybody had their time to shine in that moment, and nobody knows that Bash did that, and I hold that. You can't prove that it was me, and I'm sticking to it.
Last week, Joe, when you weren't there,
just rubbing it in, huh? I'm just gonna, even though I didn't get an invite.
You didn't invite him.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
I forgot that I said that.
Conveniently. I gotcha. I understand.
Forgot.
I'm conveniently going to be gone this Friday.
Exactly. So I had how many would we have show up? All that was six players.
6 of us.
6 players on Friday.
Maybe 5.
A lot of them which weren't there the Friday before. So
So we had no idea what was going on.
yeah, our recaps are part of the fun. They're traveling towards a goblin city that's been overrun by giants. The goblins were pushed out. Okay?
Oh.
And the goblins don't want to fight giants. So our party says, we'll go take care of it for you, right? And they get a guide. They get a guide, a goblin guide who knows where it is. So he's taking them there.
This was fun. Keep going.
And they got an option. You can go to the upper trail that goes through the forest, or you can take the lower trail that goes through the canyon. They picked the forest. And in the forest, they ran into a bunch of assassin bugs, which is it's a I believe it benefited Extra Life, but it's like a short monster manual that they offered on D&D Beyond. It had 13 or 14 monsters in there. One of which was called an assassin bug,
Awful.
which are flying wasps about the size of Cocker Spaniels.
Yeah.
And they can either bite you, or they can give you the old ovipositor, I believe is what it's called, ovipositor, which means they impregnate you with magnets, with maggots.
With magnets?
They wish it was magnets.
Yeah, we wish. If it were magnets, I'd have been like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
Yeah,
Instead, it was maggots.
Then you would have had to ask, how do these work? Huh?
That would have been much better for them.
Yeah.
They hit the barbarian. They hit and they got kind of over. There were a lot of them, and each character on his own could have taken out one, because they weren't exactly high level or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But when you overwhelm the group, then you get that feeling. Even though as a DM, you know they're going to come out on top.
And here's the thing: it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we knew we were going to be fine, but nobody wanted to get hit because of the indignity of having a magnet wriggling under your skin.
Yeah.
Like, oh!
The stat block gave you 1 round to burn it off with fire.
Mm-hmm.
After you got, ovipositored, yeah. After that, it burrows too deep. And then it requires lesser restoration or something like that.
You'll be fine.
And they were fine.
Yeah, we were. We had a cleric with us. But what I loved was the fact that we are working so hard to make sure that our little guide, our little goblin with probably 2 hit points, we were like, James was like, oh, he starts to panic, and we tied him up and tied him to the cleric. We were like, you ain't going anywhere, and James ain't killing you, buddy. and that became the number 1 goal, because we're like, whatever, we're 15th level characters, we'll cast lesser restoration, no one's gonna die here. Protect that goblin, damn it! It's a game of keep away.
That's a good point when it comes to encounters. Maybe you don't just have 5 or 6 monsters and the objective is to kill them. Maybe you throw some kind of complication in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the point I was going to bring up. That there's other ways to do it, whether it's adding the spice through the environment or adding another NPC that the party has to protect, like you did. There's many ways that you can go about, upping the challenge level without necessarily modifying the monsters.
I mean, that wasn't supposed to be like an escort mission. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to get him killed. He was trying to get him killed.
These bugs all over the place, and he freaked out and tried to run away. It might have been fine to let him run away, but, they were like, you're staying right here, you little goblin bitch.
You ain't murdering him off screen. Yeah. We know your games.
Figure out your own way to the goblin town.
One of my favorite modifications I made was to a Pathfinder module. I was running it for I think a group of 6 players, and they have to fight a handmaiden devil. But they don't really describe the room outside of there's tables and surgical tools and everything. But she could cast I believe major image or something, some illusory spell effect. So what I did is I described the room that I didn't tell them, but she had cast this illusory image on the floor to make it look like a bottomless pit. And then I described that the tables and everything else in the room was hanging from the ceilings by chains. So that way the PCs didn't think to interact with the floor. They automatically thought, oh, this floor doesn't have an end. We need to spend party resources to cast fly on everyone so that we can go into this room to go fight the handmaiden devil. Yeah. And so that's an example of changing the environment, and it also it makes your party have to think about what they're going to do to get around that new element that they don't necessarily have to do every single time.
Who was the guy that was supposed to be casting Detect Magic, Joe? Because I'm very disappointed in him. Wait a second.
Didn't think to do that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Because, you just see it. You see a pit. You're like, all right, cool, guys. We can get over this pit. We've got fly. And you're like, oh, yeah, use those 2nd level spell slots.
That's right.
Use those 3rd level spell slots. Oh, I love it. And you're just like, we get over there, and then you go into a boss fight, and you're like, oh, we're supposed to win this, Joe. Well, maybe you could have dispelled the illusion, idiot.
Yep.
Oh, that's awful. You're the worst, Joe.
I mean, you know.
I think environment is important in your encounters.
Absolutely.
Make it interesting. Almost everybody's playing on Roll20 or some other virtual tabletop right now.
What's the other one?
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But, you put some different... we had our class warfare thing last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was awful.
Morgan, she found the battle map, and there was some interesting... there's some cover you could find. There were a couple of deep pools you could find, right?
Something that I'm thinking... Oh, go ahead.
Don't just have a flat plain.
Oh, yeah.
that feels like a battle map you drew on the table at home. You know what I'm saying? Have interesting environments that the characters can use. Because what good is a ranger if you can't find cover?
Yeah.
Or an archer.
And that's what I thought was interesting is I think that ranger would have stayed hidden for the rest of the time if the environment didn't hurt both me and the barbarian. We were both like, ugh. And he goes,
Another thing, yeah.
I think I can take him now. And he leapt out from cover to come at us because we'd both been damaged by the environment. And then we ended up killing him.
You killed him anyway. But, yeah.
But, you know, clerics can heal themselves. You know, he didn't think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, she had these statues around the outside, and they attacked on a certain initiative order. She would roll it to see which one did what, and they all did interesting things, and it was a lot of fun for a battle royale.
Chaos.
So if you're designing an encounter to play in your home game, try to think about the environment. Are they going to have cover they can find? Are they going to is it can they climb a little 10-foot embankment or something like that? Try to keep that interesting. And also, the monsters should be killable, but not easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have a chance of winning, Joe. The players should have a chance of winning.
They do.
And I really like with you guys when I'm running you in through Out of the Abyss. Like when you guys were on those the Silken Paths, I was like, well, this is awful. Like all advantages to the spiders. They're crossing this huge network of webs, and of course some spiders attack them. They're on freaking webs. And the spiders can move their full movement. Meanwhile, if you don't move half speed, you run the risk of falling and then getting caught. It was just like such an awful environment. And then the spiders hit hard and they poison. And I was like, what is fair about this? And then I looked at the spiders' AC and I was like, oh, okay. They are going to hit every single time. And that's how this is fair. My spiders' time on this earth is very limited, so I've got to hurt you as fast as I can before you murder them all. and that's cool. I like that.
And players get mad when they get hit. They do. Oh my God! You hit me. You took away 2 of my 49 hit points. Oh my God! They do. They whine and they cry. But as a DM, you gotta let that wash over you. We had
Joe rebels. Joe's trying
there's
to
no
get
greater joy.
And then listen, Joe doesn't have these hoity-toity death saving throws. Joe's doing it Pathfinder style. He's got to get them to negative con. Okay, that's a lot of work, James.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe, I know you don't understand 5e.
I mean, I do understand.
I know you don't
5e.
understand it. I know you're like a
complete neophyte, a 5e idiot.
You're like a,
go on.
a child who wanders into the middle of a movie that doesn't have any. Okay, so 5e has a thing.
Is this something that happened to you? Because
this seems like a personal story.
No, it's a Big Lebowski reference. Anyway.
Okay.
So 5e has a thing called CR.
Oh, yes.
You know about CR, right?
Oh my gosh. That is so insulting. You know that Pathfinder just came from a branch off of 3.5, right?
Go on.
Now, I don't know.
This isn't mansplaining, Joe, because you're a man.
I am manspreading while I'm mansplaining.
Oh, yeah. Let's all do it.
So, Joe, in your opinion, when you do the CR calculation, is it anywhere near what you need to have for your encounter?
I mean, it depends.
You need an element of danger. You don't want to kill everybody if you can avoid it. Maybe kill one person, right? In your encounter. Because I know in 5e it's way off.
Yeah, it is so hard to make it challenging for you guys.
It doesn't take into account magical items, all the other crazy shit that the characters do,
I mean, that's I use CR as a guide, not so much like a hard and fast rule.
I think that if you're building a campaign at home or an encounter at home, CR is just a guideline, man, because
Like, I got a good analogy for this. It's like when I'm going through a recipe and they say add like 2 cloves of garlic.
no,
and
you gotta
know
go
that,
4.
you really mean that's at least 4
At
cloves
least
of garlic.
4.
Yeah. And so like you start at CR and then you pepper in. You pepper in.
That's a good analogy, Aldon. I like that.
And I mean, if I'm thinking about like one big bad that I'm gonna have to fight a party, like I follow the rule that a CR +1 of the party is going to be a challenge, +2 is going to be hard, and then a +3 is bordering on epic. And if you go above a +3 to your party's CR, then the party's in for a world of hurt, most likely.
Yeah.
If I found that if you make the CR calculation match your party, they're not gonna have a problem at all.
They are going to
violate
it.
Yeah.
Run right over it.
Yeah.
So I've gotten where I'll look at the CR of the creatures, but I don't do the calculations that add them together or anything like that.
Yeah.
We were talking about this right before we started. Sometimes what I'll do is on roll 20, you have a GM layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for your thing on Friday, there are 25 of those assassin bugs on the GM layer. At least 25, right?
Bastard.
Should have made them into an assassin bug swarm.
I think you fought like 10 of them, but and I felt that the encounter had gone on for long enough. You don't want people to get bored.
And 2 people got infected, and we were horrified by it.
So I ended the encounter. Hey, you win, right? But I had like another 15 of them on the GM later, just in case. In case we were going down too easy.
Yeah,
right,
I have,
of course,
the exact same problem in Out of the Abyss. Like you guys went into a tomb the other day, and it had like 1 specter for each grave.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, maybe 2 more, because they've been kind of steamrolling my guys here. Mm-hmm. And you guys did a good job, and you had fun, and you were victorious. But you were like, oh my god, that encounter was crazy. And I was like, good. Finding that sweet spot.
That's the thing. You want the players to feel like they accomplished something when they get done. If each one of them takes a swing and it just expires. It expires. Everybody takes a swing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm killing 6 or 7 of them in one swath of my blade. That's no fun. So you want them to feel like they were in danger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first time I realized that the DMs could play with hit points.
Yes.
My buddy Brian, when playing through the 1 to 20 wonderful Drow War campaign, we're fighting this creature called He Who Must Be Fed.
Yeah.
We mowed through all of his little undersea creatures, and then He Who Must Be Fed, like, here's the thing. I was a paladin Kinsai. You don't know what that means, but it means I can put down some serious damage.
Yep.
And then the rogue had his all of this, and we just. And Brian later on, he let us peek behind the curtain. He's like, "You guys killed that thing in 2 rounds." So I decided to give it double hit points immediately. And we were just like, "You son of a bitch!" And he was like, "No, like this. They had built this thing up, and like it had like there's been all this like foreshadowing and like warnings, and then for us to watch it and be like, "What the hell was the big deal?" I don't know, man. I'm gonna get a beer. Yeah, let's do it. They're like, no, you have to double the hit points at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can change shit on the fly. Lately, what I've been doing is when I'm before Friday for the Saltmarsh game, I'm putting my maps together and putting enemies on and stuff. I've been actually rolling hit points for each one.
Oh,
because it I don't know, it adds a little bit of like you hit one and it just goes down, and the next one you have to hit forever. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a pretty wild range of hit points they could have.
Absolutely.
Dice, so.
Yeah. And that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
You got one with 17 hit points, and you got one with 43.
Yeah.
And I think that adds a little element of fun in there too, because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So I do that ahead of time, but I'm not saying I've never jacked the hit points on something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. In the middle of it.
You've got to, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I've never let somebody win.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because it was a dramatic moment.
Yeah.
And it just fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I've had like a creature with like 10 hit points left. The party's all dropping like flies. The creature's like coming in, and I don't know. He says something. He says an amazing speech, and he hits, and he only does 8 damage. I am not going to let that creature sit there with 2 hit points and ruin his moment. Fuck you, the
No.
creature's dead. The creature's dead. Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're in one of my games and anything ever felt a little too epic,
Hmm?
that was me. That wasn't the dice. But that's the point of the games, to have fun and kill monsters and
Yeah.
you know.
Come and be rich.
As a DM, our job is to let is for the players to have a good time, unless you ask Joe.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing: is no, I understand with Joe, with people like Joe, and there is a whole subset of players that agree with this.
Yes,
Is
there
that the PCs and the DM are on opposite sides of a chessboard,
Yeah.
and the
Heard
fun of
that.
the game is the DM attempting to thwart you, while we as PCs as a group must thwart the DM, and
Yeah.
that can be its own kind of antagonistic fun.
that's right.
But it can immediately turn into hurt feelings or a bunch of complaining crybabies, as we have seen sometimes.
Look. PCs are gonna cheat, and it is the job of the GM to rein them in.
And here's the thing.
Dirty, cheating PCs.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I would love to disagree with Joe, but here's the thing: like in your game, when I built my character into D&D Beyond, I was like, "Oh, I've been cheating. Oh, I have done this math wrong." And like, don't get me wrong, my attacks went up, but my AC went down significantly, and I was like, "Oh no!" And Joe was like, "See, you're cheating," and I was like, "I didn't do it."
Even when you didn't mean to. Dirty, cheating PC.
God dang it!
Alden Morgan's in the chat,
Hi, Morgan.
and she is wondering if she actually killed Godzilla.
She absolutely killed Godzilla.
And the answer is yes.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
reduced Godzilla to 0 hit points based on
Yes.
what he had at that moment. Just sort of happened.
And thank goodness, because the next turn I was just gonna try and plane shift him back to Avernus, which would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious.
You could have fought us again with like fiendish Godzilla, as Asmodeus is like, screw you, I don't want this. I want to send him back, you know. But killing him was way smarter.
With some upgrades.
Yeah, it would have been awful.
No, I didn't fudge anything on that one. Glimmer Fizz jumped up with her bow and stuck it right in his eye, and Godzilla expired.
And she became
Sometimes-
queen of monsters.
Sometimes it just works out. You don't have to, fudge anything. Okay, Joe. Before we leave, is there anything you want to say to your players, or to players in general, other than suck it up?
To quote Doomfist from Overwatch, conflict and war is the crucible through which we evolve.
Oh no!
That's all I got for you.
I don't disagree. That's the point of the game. You're going from level 1 to level 20. You're killing monsters. You're solving geopolitical problems in some games.
Or I want to know more about this slaughtering of giants that's going to go down and
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing. Joe has already accused us of genocide because of the toad people that we killed, who were allies of the Shawagin. So it was war. It was not an action against civilians. It was a military action. Therefore, it was okay.
Okay, 2 things. The first thing is that they are not allied with the Sahuagin.
Dang it. Oh. Well, now you've ruined all of it.
The second thing is that you only killed like 9 of them. It's not like you've genocided the whole.
Oh, good. Well, they're good. See, Joe, they're fine.
It's like
they're
9
fine.
of them.
They're living in their life, and they tell stories of when the PC.
it was a regional genocide.
And they were setting traps for travelers down that road. So.
I thought there was another group that also fought them as well.
No.
No.
Well, there was kind of, because there was a group that was, I think you were traveling to look at the Sahuagin lair. I think that's what you were doing.
So then remember that Alex and I went on a 2-person quest.
Yes.
Killed some people, stole their gold. That was wrong. That's on me.
You killed a few of the frog
Once again,
people.
only 9, Joe. See, only 9.
You killed a few of the frog people.
The party was coming through, and then the rest of the toads attacked them. And that was what made it funny, Joe. That's what made it funny.
So yeah, they had one encounter where they were attacked by frog people on the road, and they killed all the frog people and took their gold or whatever. And they moved on their way. So the rest of the party in another session, it's like, well, let's go meet up with them. So they're going down the same damn road, but the frog people have set up an ambush in the meantime to try to catch whoever did it the first time. And there was like a bullywugs. That's what they were. And there's a bullywug like king or something, and he's riding on a mount, and it was all pretty fun.
And they slaughtered them, Joe.
Yeah.
They slaughtered them too.
Like PCs.
I wouldn't call it a genocide. I mean, there's tons of bullywugs. It's just one little group, right? But yeah, they were not affiliated with the Sahuagin at all.
And now we're about to do the same thing with the Giants, is what Joe is
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
You're about to do the same thing with the Giants.
We'll see.
You're not gonna go diplomatize and be like, "Hey, these goblins were."
We're actually really good at that now, Joe. So maybe we will. You're right.
PCs are gonna PC.
PCs are gonna PC.
Our Salt Marsh games are going to be winding down over the next couple of months. We've been playing it for a year and a half. They're level 15? 16 right now?
Mostly 15.
You're 16, right? Everybody else 15?
Because of the deck of many things.
Yes.
Definitely let your DM bring that into the game, people.
We can save that for another one because that's a whole thing.
That is a whole discussion. That should be our next discussion. Deck of many things. Why you should never do it.
But we did that like a year ago, maybe more than a year ago.
Bad idea or the worst idea?
Worst, yeah. Bad idea or worst idea. Deck of many things.
So, you got like 5 levels to go to really, play as level 20 for a little bit. I'm gonna fast track the leveling. There was a while there I was really not letting it level as often as it
That's
should.
fine though. Yeah, we were having fun because once you're in the sweet spot of like level 8 and on, you're so powerful you can solve anything,
I
survive everything.
I would like you to get to level 20 and be able to experience it a little bit. So, maybe 2 months left. We're gonna wind this game down, and we're in the end game at this point.
Yeah,
we're in Act 3.
We're in the end game now.
We're in Act 3. So
I just had a vision of Sybil being like, aim for the head.
And I have not killed any characters yet.
And
is
that why you want me to join?
What needs to happen in every campaign, Aldon?
A character death?
At least one.
Okay, I hope it's not Sybil because I really like her.
I don't know if I can kill Sybil at this point.
Well, don't kill me.
I don't know if I can. I have to identify a character I can kill. No, I can't premeditate it. It has to happen.
Naturally.
It has to happen naturally.
Well, look, I get real drunk during the game, so it's definitely going to be me now. Yeah.
You have him getting pretty drunk in these games.
Yeah, so I'm
by the end of it, Aldon has no idea what the fuck's going on. He's got his beard, he's like, Well,
because Joe, once I'm done with all my high level spell slots, Joe, I'm just cantripping it out, so I know I can get loaded, and I'm just casting Eldritch Blast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
All right. Well, if you have any suggestions for making encounters for your party, or if you have questions about creating encounters, any other sort of DMing or tabletop role-playing question, feel free to email us at neongoblinDND@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Twitter. We're at Goblin Neon on Twitter. What else we got? We're also on Facebook. Just look for Neon Goblin on Facebook. You'll find it. So
on Twitter, it's Goblin Neon.
Yes, at Goblin Neon. Our name is Neon Goblin, but the @ is at.
Somebody
Goblin.
already had Neon Goblin on Twitter?
No, it just reverses it, I think, for your @.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think you understand Twitter, Aldon.
I'm on
That's-
Twitter like all the time.
Are you? I've never seen you on Twitter.
Well,
Oh, it's all.
I'm super horny on my Twitter, so I can't put my personal
It's
one out
all
there.
tentacle porn. I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah,
That's fine.
I'd have to make a new Twitter account. You know,
Mhm. You're gonna kill Joe.
Joe, you want to friend me on Twitter?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, yeah, Joe, I'll send you some
I'm
links.
good. No, I'm good.
I feel
I'm
like we
good.
should make
I'm
Joe
good.
move. I feel like we should make Joe move his camera around his apartment. It's just all waifu pillows everywhere
No,
pillows
that's all.
and tentacle bad dragons.
That's
How dare you?
That's all.
How dare you insult my waifu? I got one for my birthday. My grandmother was there. Hilarious. Good. I'll tell you the story sometime.
All right, well, I think we're gonna take off. We've been going for 45 minutes. That's long enough to talk about encounters, I think.
Well,
For
we
now-
didn't really give any advice, so you know we're.
We
all-
gave a shitload of advice.